All right. So this is another testimonial. I'm gonna try to make at least a few a day. Um, just because I understand the fact that my brain, my memories, everything's gonna fade out at some point. And so I wanna continuously testify about what's happening to me and the way my perps have tried to delude themselves in this falsified reality they put together. It's truly a fantasy they've put together, pieced together, and it's disturbing the things they do to me when it comes to the psychological manipulations. Obviously, they do a lot of things to my body, to my organs. That's the things they do. But the facade that they've been trying to create is just a joke. You know, it'll be one thing if they do their nastiness and do it in a sense of we're part of this program, right? That does these things. You're a subject. You're a subject, one of many. Some of the subjects are women. Some of the subjects are actually children. We do that to men, women, and children. And we're trying to present, they're trying to present themselves as, oh, this is our research. It's obviously comical. It's a joke. They think maybe if they say that enough, I'm going to subscribe to it, but I know better. Even though there's moments where my brain can be manipulated to think in this illogical way, I understand there's nothing unique about me and there's nothing unique about them. Meaning that these same people here doing these things to me are doing it to women and children. Some of them have done this to women and children. So I understand. With me, they were trying to present themselves as this fierce group of, I don't know if it's like like some kind of radical group of feminists. It's just a joke. It's truly a joke. Because one, I know who put me in this program. Very not radical in that sense. Very much on the conservative side. And very much people that you will not be trying to present themselves as that. Now, these people are just frauds. I've been validated to know that they torture a lot of women, and a lot of women have been testifying about it. You've heard the testimonies. These people doing this to me, presenting themselves as that, are the same people that will torture a woman and a child. I know why I was put in this program, and I know the facade they try to present. So, target individual, you'll see different facades. This is a facade. This is what they try to make it look like. The reality is they're just perps contracted by the government, and this sophistication of a technology of this program is a protocol way of tormenting people. Right? I've been validated in so many ways, and every time they try to play the feminist, I bring up all the testimonials of women they've been torturing. These people doing this to me. So I see them for what they are. And then when they try to play, we're doing this for, we're doing this for this person. I'm like, you know how many women I know? Do you know how the amount of women you guys are torturing this program is just unbelievable? Do you think I'm going to let them speak for it? You think I'm going to let them speak for a woman that they would torture if she was in this program? Like many other women are being tortured? I can never let them live their fantasy. And on top of that, they've been doing this nasty pedophilia type of tormenting, which is honestly, it's protocol. So last night they woke me up, and they tried to play this thing. I obviously know that the entities in charge of this program are in the intelligence community. One thing is for sure, you cannot think that this program is happening and the CIA has no involvement. It's impossible to even think that way. It's obvious there's a strong CIA fingerprint into this program. I'm taking those words from somebody else who said that. It's obvious. If you go back and you start seeing, the entities that are starting to learn how to manipulate the brain, you find out that the CIA in the 50s were already doing unbelievable things. Unbelievable things. There's books and that talks about like the different human experimentation that was happening then in the 50s. But in fact, it's funny, they try to manipulate me because I once say they will try to use that as a back and forth, because I was saying the 60s, right? And I was giving it a little bit because I thought it was maybe the 50s, but I wasn't sure. So I'd go with the 60s, where it's sure. Like, at least in the 60s, I can say that confidently. And they're like, oh, you're wrong. It's actually the 50s. It's like, you're actually making my point even better, right? So since in the 50s, they've been doing these things where CIAs have been coming out with programs to manipulate people. And there was even a disturbing story, and I can send you the reference, where they were like manipulating the memories of people, to the point that the one person ended up doing some horrible thing to a 3-year-old child, because in his memory he thought this 3-year-old child was somebody else. This man was a 30-year-old man. 30-year-old man thought this 3-year-old child was something else. That's how the manipulation of memories were. And they would try to like have me have a battle and try to see that in this illogical way, to block out the reality that if in the 50s they were doing these things where they can manipulate the memory to that level, where a man who never would do something like that, who had a family, who had children, a respectable man, ended up doing this horrible thing to a 3-year-old child in the 50s. And today you hear about the torture they do to women and children. They'll try to talk about, now we see, remember what you did as a kid, as a stupidity. I don't even want to go into the details. It's just a little too, it's just, that's what they have to dumb themselves down. And they usually let childlike individual, people who have a chip on the shoulder, in a sense, to come up and try to put in this illogicalness, because they are trying to counter the fact that this shows that in the 50s they were already mastering, learning, and change to change a person's memory to the point that they would do something horrible, as doing horrible things to a child that's 3 years old. That's in the 50s. Now, today, it's a whole different level, right? So they're trying to block that. That there's also shows that they're already doing like terrible things, and it was also pedophilia centric already, because what ended up happening was so disgusting, so horrible to this 3-year-old child. That was in the 50s. Today they're still doing these horrible things to children, but in a different way, in a more sophisticated way, in a technological way. They do things to children. And the way they can make people think is also pedophilia centric. For a man who's 30 years old, who did what he did to a 3-year-old, who was a normal person, happy man with his family, he has his own kids, ending up doing some horrible things to a 3-year-old and finding out he couldn't even remember what he did. He was just like, they saw this person just in blood just somewhere. He just like, he didn't know what just happened. He did some horrible thing to this child. Then they found out that all along he was in this program that was like a program where they were like testing people and see how they can manipulate memories. And because of that, ended up doing these horrible things to a 3-year-old child. That's in the 50s. My point is, these people, even the origins of these things is disgusting, and now it's even worse because now technology is at a level that is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's almost godlike, but it's not. It's very just sophisticated. It's just the smartest of the smartest involved themselves in creating this technology. The best of the best. Now, the people deploying that might not be it, but the technology definitely is. And so they were trying to find a way to counter this, to say, oh, but you remember maybe what they made him believe that what happened to him is what you did as a child, and try to exaggerate what it is. Try to find ways to rewire the reality. What would push a man to do this, what he did to a 3-year-old child? It's unbelievable. To, it's, it's crazy. And what it took is them playing with his brain to the point where he raped and killed a 3-year-old child. That's the reality. And they were trying to find ways to counter this thing. Try to make me think, oh, but it's so disgusting. That's the kind of people and how they have to dumb themselves down. But what this man did and what this program was doing is just this is very, like, we're talking about the 50s. Today, they have these disgusting methods of manipulating people in tormenting ways, disgusting ways. Things now are completely controlled, but it's still disturbing. They force people to have disturbing thoughts. I had this disgusting dream. They control, they modulate during the sleep. That's when they do a lot of manipulations, right? That's when they condition you, right? And they're like, they are, because they want you to accept these nasty things as if it's you. Now, understand, in the 50s, they're already manipulating memories. This man is saying that they were already mastering, in the 50s, the ability to give you false memories. In the 50s. I used to say the 60s, but they wanted to use that against me. Oh, you said the 60s. In the 50s, they were able to change somebody's memory, take away his real memories, put into his false memories. In the 50s. Let's just say that. Today, we're way past the, it's, well, how many years now? 70-something years now. Technology is at a level that is unbelievable. Do you think they cannot do this now? Do you think they don't do this now? Of course they do this. They do it in a more refined way, in a more controlled, precise way. So you already understand this, but there's other patterns that they're trying to escape. There's patterns of this pedophilia-centric thing, because what this man did to a 3-year-old is it's disgusting, it's pedophilia-centric, it's horrible. And today they're still doing horrible things to children and force grown men and women to think in these disturbing ways. Now, let me just be honest, what they make me feel is this disgusting, the stimulation and reaction which is manipulated by them. What it makes me, it's just I hate being even around children. I hate looking at children. I hate the sound of children, because this is what they make me feel this disgusting ways. This program have made me almost hate being around kids. I mean, I actually truly hate kids. I'm more scared of being around kids than I could run toward menacing beings, people. If I see a group, I'll go to, I detest. Actually, it just disturbs me so much. It almost pushed me to, it almost pushed one to move on. Almost. If I didn't have the validation I've had from others that show me that if this woman is going through the same thing that I'm going through, and she was strong enough to deal with it, who am I? I cannot be weak if this woman who has been tormented even for longer than me is that strong. This person gave me strength to maintain, and I was like, never, I will never that. I'll never let them live that. No. I cannot. Look at these strong women. These people have gone through more, and they are more vulnerable than me. So I have no excuse. Let me be strong. So last night, they would try to go bring that up and change things and manipulate that. But you understand, these people have origins that are super disturbing and pedophilia-centric, and today you understand that is why they have these methods of doing things to people. And there's this young people from underage kids to whatever they are, young adults involved in this, and they're trying to add this radical, fierce aspect of that. It's so disgusting. Right? Try to find a way. It's just you're gonna, oh yeah, we're gonna do this to you, and it's try to sound like this. Excuse my language. This badass, radical, femme fatale like individual that are doing this, and you're gonna avenge for our kids. It's like, oh, try to hype themselves up into like doing these things, and it's so disgusting because they're in an environment where this kind of things is what they've been doing for decades and decades and decades and decades. And today they're still doing this to women and children. And so when I hear these people, it's even more disgusting. It's even more foul to see these people who are trying to make it seem like they're doing it for their children, they're doing it for their girls, they're doing it for their women, but they're in a program that has been doing nasty, disgusting things for decades to some of the most vulnerable, and it's happening today. And see this trash. Say, oh, we dared. They've been daring since the 50s, if that's what you call daring. So you see these people doing this thing, just tell me how they're gonna watch me die. All this theater to counter reality, as if them watching me being tortured change the fact that they're in a program that does horrible things to women and children and force people to think in these disturbing ways, and then try to play this femme fatale, radical individual fierce when they're trash, and using some of these childlike individuals, using these young, wishful, childlike people, seeing these grown men and women dumbing themselves down, try to block out reality, becoming all of a sudden damn near on the spectrum, and then these intellectuals and just to block out and to feel okay to do what they do in a program that does that. I'm not going to let them live the fantasy. They've been trying to use these intimidations. It's just so disgusting. When I hear, for example, right now, I hear like loud bikes, and I'm like, this is so disgusting. This guy on this bike knows that I know that these people have been torturing children. They are filled with pedophiles, and they have origins of so disturbing pedophilia things. And they do this disgusting conditioning of the brain that is so nasty. And you hear this man on his bike try to intimidate me. It's like, do you understand that you're in pure pedophilia environments that's disgusting? And you hear this church, no, we just mapped it. And they were trying to create this new version because they want to be this woke thing, this woke group of people saying we were reformed. Oh. Clown. They're trying to make me accept these pedophilia things they've been doing for a long time. And then so we mapped it. They've been manipulating the memories for decades and decades. We're talking about the 50s. That's over 70 years. You understand? And they try to sound like, oh no, no. They've been daring since the 50s. Disgusting darings. This is the people here now trying to create a version of wokenism in this thing. And you hear these people try to be like condescending. These low lives are disgusting. So, after that, I slept again, and let me say something. They've been playing with my libido. Woo. They've been stimulating me to create these sexual reactions, right? They have control of your arousals. I've said it many times, your stimulations. They've been doing that. I've talked about it many times. You hear that with this, like target individuals can be manipulated in these ways, in the sexual ways. They've been cranking up my sexual stimulations. Been doing that. Matter of fact, it's funny because I hear the V2K yesterday saying arousal because that's the word I would say, and I hate using the words before they say it, after they say it. But because I've said it many times, and I've had videos many times, I'm gonna say it. They've been manipulating me in this sexual stimulating, arousing ways. That's disgusting. They manipulate your libido. Crank up your libido. and then put kids in your head and try to create stimulations with when you think of kids. And so what happens is like you feel like this stimulations all the time. You heard this woman say like all the time, just crank your stimulations, your sexual arousal, your libido, cranked up, cranked up, cranked up. Stimulating the libido, stimulate. It's just disgusting. And then put kids mess with you to condition you in these disgusting ways. And so I end up sleeping. They start having me the dream modulations. You've heard it. Many people have said they have this ability to create dreams of some sort. For me, they try to make dreams that are gonna take my attention, random dreams, and then it gets to a point where this. Let me just say about this. It's completely modular. They create these dreams. They can make you have dreams that they want you to have. This is pure technology. It's not magical. They can truly force you to have dreams that they want. They've modulated. This is technology. This is not magical. These people who have ability to manipulate your brain have been able to create dreams. This is how sophisticated things are. And I think there was also like this thing that where I forgot this piece about this man. They were going commercial about it, where you can create your own dreams, and it's something they've been working on. But you know that the military is on another level, right? Things that we civilians have access to, the military, the Department of Defense is 100 years ahead. So what we civilians in the commercial world can access has been a technology they've been using for decades and decades and decades ago. So in the future, near future, there'll probably be somebody, and they were talking about it, that can say that you can get this device where you can create your own dreams. But this technology is already doing that, and you hear that, and there's a pattern of the same testimonial. They control your dreams. They can modulate your dreams. Not everybody can people cannot experience the same thing to that point and not see a pattern there. They made me have this dream, modulated dream, and it was just a random dream. They try to make you be involved in that dream, right? And in this dream, they modulated. At the end of the dream, this guy comes out, like, "Hey, I need you to pay." And there's this little girl that passed by. Matter of fact, as I say that, they try to do some horrible that passed by, and then all of a sudden, so disgusting. They I don't know, for some reason, I hugged this kid, and she hold me like this, like she's like holding me, very endearing. But I was getting a weird sensation, a stimulation. It was disgusting. It was sexual. It was sexual, and they were trying to you just matched it to you as a kid, but. If you were feeling in this arousal state of mind, you could feel this way, if this and that, and oh my, it was so disgusting. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And what they've done is they create these sexual arousals. They can aim it toward children, and then they try to make you think that when you were a kid, you could feel like that, but also that they if the circumstances were that you were aroused in this way, this, that, and this, and that, and that, this is how you feel. And try to make you accept this way. It's like, of course, this is pure manipulation. For me to be stimulated to kids, they change things that would be endearing, cute, or whatever, and change it into a sexual thing. It is so disgusting. And they want you to accept that because they try to make you feel like this is something you have felt it before. You understand? These people have the ability to manipulate your memories, and they can get you to feel things that you feel like, oh my God, it feels loose. It feels familiar. It feels like something I felt before, but in reality, it's not true. It's what they make you feel like you felt before, and they try to go into something when you're a child to try to connect these things that they manipulated with a lot of different feelings to make you feel. And then they try to make you feel like in these ways. And then right after that, they tell you how they're gonna torture you. You're gonna get knocked out. You're gonna be killed. We're gonna film you being tortured. Theater. after literally, while your eyes are closed, try to get you to have this disturbing stimulation or this dream, this kid in this dream. Disgusting. Of course, I know this is manipulation on the nth degree, and they're like, no, we just matched it to something. You are day in and day out forcing me to get this nasty experience. It's disgusting. I'm being forced to feel this way. I know it's what they do. I know. They try to make us feel like maybe you felt like this when you were a kid. But imagine when you're a kid and you are like, like you're in a state of like stimulation as a child, but now imagine that will happen now as an adult. If you feel like that and there was a child and they want you to analyze how this is happening. It's happening because you are forcing me to experience these things, to condition me to experience this way, to experience these disgusting things when I'm with children or when there's children. You train my brain to think like that. And then you try to go back as me as a child and say that's where the source of this is coming from. This is pure manipulation. It's disgusting. And then they come up and say, you know what, you're going to get knocked out, killed, tortured, they're going to torture you, they're going to crap on you, they're going to piss on you, they're going to do all this. This is all theater. Because the reality is, the reason why I'm experiencing this is because they are manipulating my brain to experience this way. To experience this disgusting thing. This endearing moment is turning into something disgusting. What? In reality, I'll be like, oh my gosh, it'll be heartwarming. It's turning into something sexual. And they force me to have these nasty things, and they try to create, if this was this, if this was, it's so disgusting. And then try to get you to accept these things. Try to get you to think that if those circumstances will happen, you will feel this, and it's so disgusting. And they try to make me imagine a moment where that would happen. It's what they do. And then they talk about, they're going to torture you. They're going to corner you. They're going to say, listen, whatever is going to end up happening to me is not going to validate the manipulation that you do to me. They're like, they believe you. They're going to believe the people who don't do the pedophile type of torture. Right? They do this. It's like they think that people have to believe me or not. I know everybody who's involved knows even better than me the manipulations. At first I thought that people didn't know. It's like, no. With their level of obviousness that these people have been doing pedophile type of torture, there's no way. Some of these people are even smarter than me. Some of them are far smarter than me. Some people understand this, and I'm not even talking about like people in corporate. Do you think people who's like, they do the pedophile type of torture, and this man is just all of a sudden feeling this way? Oh no, they somehow created a moment that he can feel this way. Maybe he wasn't there before, but if the arousal was like this and this, I can never let them live the fantasy. I know. And then they try to manipulate my memories and want me to go back into memory to counter this. There's no countering. I can never be me again. I will always have this disturbing experience because of what they do to me and how they manipulate me to experience things. And I will never subscribe to that. You just got to be strong. You got to accept that there's nothing that can happen to change that. And they'll try to make me think, but okay, if that would have happened, and they create that into a moment just to say, maybe in 2006, there you feel that. And they make me imagine this. These people who can manipulate your memories. What? It's disgusting. It's disgusting, it's foul, and it's just creating something that's not there to try to put something there. So disgusting. It's so disgusting. It's foul. It's so foul, and they're making me imagine these things. But you gotta understand, in the 50s, they were already manipulating memories. In the 50s. So now, in 2023, forget about it. It's just... So do not subscribe to it, because this is how they've been doing these things with me. They've been trying to get you to get me to accept these things in this disgusting ways, but I'll never subscribe to it. It's disgusting. And then the logic in my brain tried to go into how they can. It's like maybe you think like that if you were there, and they gave me like scenarios in moments where there's non-existent. There's not even children around. And they're like, yeah, but you remember that feeling that you kind of like aroused during that time. But imagine this arousal, and then it's just not. It's so disgusting. These are people who specialize in manipulating people in pedophilia ways. It's just disgusting. And they make some noise campaign and will try to distract you, disorient me with the torture I'm going to experience. While these people have been doing pedophilia type of tormenting for decades and decades, manipulating the memories for decades and decades, doing the pedophilia type of tormenting, torturing children, doing horrible things to women all around the world. And they want you to accept this put together nastiness they just try to create and call it we matched it. To all my target individuals, this is not, do not subscribe. These feelings that I'm 100% sure that this is all of that created, manipulated, made by using different things and try to create this. And you hear this, oh no, it's screaming to the top. It's like, oh, they are. Like this doesn't make it even more obvious. These people will renowned for their pedophilia type of tormenting. They literally try to say, this is how you ought to feel. If in 2006, remember when you're by yourself in your bed, if this was happening, if there's a child there, oh my God. They're this delusional. It's disgusting, it's foul, but you understand who it's coming from. And they've been daring in this fashion for years. Years. Because I'm a subject, like many others, whose brain is being manipulated in the foulest ways. And they want you to subscribe. Listen, I know I'm not perfect. I know my imperfections. And I know they're far from these nasty pedophilia things they do to me. So to all my target individuals, understand. They will do horrible things to you. They even do some things that are just a nuisance, not really horrible. For example, they like to do this kind of race-based torment where it's just stupidity. Like it's annoying, but it gets to you. But it's like it's this thing where within my I'm obviously, as you can see, I'm black, right? And they try to say, oh, you think that black people's breath when you kiss them are some stupidity thing. And they try to have these dialogues in my head. I'm like, oh, whatever. It's just, yes, black people's breath, white people's breath is so good. They want you to lose yourself in this stupidity. They are trying to vilify you, create some reality that is falsified, and want you to accept these things. Do not subscribe to them. Don't. Because that's what they want you to do. Especially when it comes to this nasty, horrible, pedophilia things. Don't. And then in my head, they're like, oh, but you... I will never subscribe to these pedophilia things. They are just BS, I don't care about that. It's just stupidity, it's just nuisances. But these disgusting pedophilia things, which are truly destructive, are truly disturbing, where they force you to have these disgusting stimulations toward babies, and then get you like, you would think like that if you were in the basement of, remember when you lived in 2006 in that place. If you remember, you had like, because I was like 17, 18 years old. It's like, remember, like, okay, you see that arousal there? If there was I was just by myself, and they're like, oh, if there was a kid there. This is the things they do. So as I'm going to deal with these horrible things they're going to do to me, because the theater is needed. They need this theater. They need you to go with this thing. So they're going to create a theater, and for their own good, they're going to try to create a theater to force you to accept this way, these things. They have no shame. So to all my target individuals, stay strong, that the justice will be done. This trash that want you to accept these pedophilia things will do everything to try to get you to accept it, torture included. I will never. And this trash that try to get you to accept this disturbing pedophilia thing, which they're renowned to be doing to people, I will not subscribe. And by the way, lastly, just to wrap this thing up, like I said, this predictive ability of this program and technology is used to try to get you to find credibility into the manipulation you do. Do not subscribe to it. This technology is extremely sophisticated. So you will, I was talking about something, and then later I see something that I'm talking about to somebody else. I see that in the thing I'm watching. That's nothing new. It's gonna happen all the time. And then they're gonna try to say, you see, I'm telling you the truth. No, this is part of how you want me to accept these things. Do not subscribe to it. Now the justice will be done, and this pedophilia type of tormenting, this disgusting, renowned pedophilia type of tormenting, is what they do, and it's what they've been doing. The rest is the minuscule things, the breath, yes, whatever. This is BS, just nonsensical. Don't even go into this. But do not, for these pedophilia things that is breaking, that destroy people, that I'm sure people have killed themselves because they've been rewiring these things in these ways. These are what they can do, and this is what they've been doing for years. So to all my target individuals, stay strong and know that justice will be done.